Chapter 2468. Inside the hotel lounge, Hui Yinyan's daughter sat on the sofa with a pink Peppa Pig doll in her hand. Uncle, when can I go home? When I'm done, I'll send someone to drive you home. Okay. Do you want to go home? Hui Xiqin sat down beside the little girl. Yeah. If I don't go home, Mommy will worry about me, Tian Tian said in a low voice. Is your mommy good to you? Hui Xiqin suddenly asked. Yeah, she's good. It's just that sometimes when she's in a bad mood she smashes a lot of things. I get scared. Does your dad come to see you? Dad came to see us a few times, but he always asked for money. Mommy said that Dad isn't a good person and that he'll get his retribution sooner or later. Uncle Shen is a good person. He's good to us and gives us money to spend. He buys us a lot of nice things. Your mommy taught you these things? Hui Xiqin was a bit surprised. Then he looked down on Hui Yanyan even more. How could she teach her child to hate? Such a young child had to distinguish between rich and good people. What kind of education was this? Why weren't the two cute kids in Mion's family like this? It seemed that children's reincarnation was really a skill. Uncle, are you not on good terms with my mommy? Tian Tian raised her head with the doll in her arms and asked weakly. Why would you say that? Hui Xiqin smiled. Because I've never seen you before. Mommy must not be on good terms with you. The little girl's words made sense. Hui Xiqin was silent for a while and then smiled. Your mommy and I are not on good terms, but that has nothing to do with you. Also, don't be like your mom. You're still young. When you grow up, you have to learn to distinguish right from wrong. Tian Tian was confused. Hui Xiqin was also a bit surprised that he was lecturing her. In fact, if she wasn't Hui Yinyan's child, he would really like Tian Tian. This child was honest, obedient, and knew how to read people's faces. She wasn't naughty and didn't have princess syndrome. What a pity. Hui Xiqin was deep in thought when one of his subordinates walked over and said softly, Boss, Miss Hui is here. Tell me which Miss Hui Yanyan. Hui Xiqin wanted to confirm if Hui Yanyan was back. It's Miss Mion. She's outside. All right, tell the kitchen to start cooking. All right. Tianan, I'll get someone to send you home now. All right, but the little girl seemed to be hesitating. What's wrong? Hui Xiqin asked curiously. Uncle, can I take this toy with me? I really like this doll and I want to bring it home. Is that okay? The little girl carefully looked at Hui Xiqin's expression and asked. Of course. That's great. Thank you, Uncle. The little girl danced with joy when she heard that Hui Xiqin had agreed. Awang, drive her home. Just leave her at the security guard's office, Hui Xiqin instructed. Yes, boss. After settling Tian Tian down, Hui Xiqin walked out and saw Hu Min sitting there expressionlessly. Man, you're here. Hui Xiqin's eyes were always filled with tenderness when he saw her. Where's Hui Yanyan's child? Since I'm here, shouldn't you let her go? Hu Min ordered impolitely. She's on her way. Don't worry, I always keep my word. Hui Xiqin smiled. Mion, let me guess, how did Hui Yanyan convince you to come? Hui Xiqin smiled mysteriously. Chapter 2469. Hu Min didn't say anything. Instead, he looked at him quietly. She's probably going to put on a pitiful act. She's going to cry about how I kidnapped her daughter and how I'm an asshole, right? Is she wrong? Hu Min asked coldly. Then when it comes to the emotional part, she might also kowtow to you and beg you to find me, right? Hu Min bit his lip and didn't say anything. However, Hui Xiqin was right. Let me guess. If she still can't convince you in the end, she's going to use her trump card. If I remember correctly, she was the one who saved your twins when Hui Si kidnapped them last time. So she must be using this incident to convince you to repay her kindness, right? It seems like you know Hui Yanyan well. Hu Min was impressed by Hui Xiqin's guesses. He was right. Hui Yanyan was crying, throwing a tantrum and threatening to hang herself. She did everything she could. Hu Min didn't want to, but he still came. Hu Min was the most principled person. She was never a heartless person. Of course I know her. If you weren't close to her and always protected her, do you think I would have let her live until now after Hui Si's death? She didn't know her place. Instead, she hooked up with that brainless guy from the Shen family. Then they teamed up and used petty tricks to deal with me. What an eyesore. So you kidnapped her daughter to threaten her? Hu Min glared at him. Isn't that the most direct and effective way? Hui Xiqin spread his hands, looking nonchalant. I hate your smug face the most. You think you're doing nothing wrong, but I've never approved of your methods. It's okay. I don't need your approval or understanding. It's okay. Huasiqian smiled. At this time the waiters began to serve the dishes one after another. They were all seafood. Lobsters, abalones, crabs, phoenix-tailed prawns, scallops, everything, they're all very fresh. Eat them while they're hot. Huasiqian picked up the prawn and began to peel it. Then he carefully handed the prawn to Huamin. Only Huamin could make Huasiqian spend so much effort to please him. Huasiqian, I'm not here today to eat with you. I'm here to repay Hu Yinyan's kindness. I know, he said. At that moment Huamin's phone rang. It was a call from Hu Yinyan. She raised her hand to answer the call. Mian, the security office in our neighborhood, called and said that the kids have gone home. Thank you so much. You're welcome. As long as the kids are fine. Huamin hung up the phone. Huamin stood up. Since there's nothing else, I'm leaving. Mian, aren't you going to sit down and have dinner with me? Huasiqian tried to persuade her to stay. You know how much I don't like you. Huamin turned around and looked at him calmly. Of course I know. But it doesn't affect my love for you. It's just like, all these years I've watched you treat everyone well except for me. There's no point in talking about this. What do you want? Just be straightforward. You should know that if I go home late, Qin Chu will definitely come looking for me. Then, Huamin didn't continue. Ha, you think I'm afraid of him? Huasiqian laughed. You're not afraid, but he definitely won't let you go. If you've been living a comfortable life for too long and want some excitement, you can give it a try. I really like how you can stay rational at all times. Huasiqian looked at her with infatuation. Huamin didn't say anything. Mian, how about we make a bet? Huasiqian said with a smile as he peeled the crab's shell. Chapter 2470. What do you want to bet on? A lifetime of happiness. Huasiqian looked up abruptly and met Huamin's eyes. His eyes were filled with a light that she had never seen before. I don't really understand what you mean, let's talk about the stakes first. Huamin didn't know what Huasiqian was up to, so she kept her guard up. If you lose, you'll have to go with me to the ends of the earth. If I lose, I'll give you my life and end it on my own. Upon hearing Huasiqian's words, Huamin was a little shocked. She didn't think that Huasiqian would make such a big bet this time. What do you want to bet on? Let's bet that you and Qin Chu can't withstand the test, okay? Huasiqian smiled meaningfully. Huamin felt a chill run down her spine when she saw his smile. Why should I bet with you? Don't you want to see if the man you said you loved your whole life will have a change of heart and can't withstand the test? He definitely won't. That's hard to say. So, do you want to bet with me? You don't have to provoke me, I won't fall for your tricks. I have absolute trust in Mr. Qin. You can't just provoke me with a few words. So, are you scared? My little sister Mian. What am I scared of? What do I have to be scared of? Huamin was a little annoyed and turned to look at Huasiqian. You're not sure either. That's why you're scared. You don't dare to bet with me. You're scared that you and Qin Chu can't withstand the test. Whatever you say, it's ridiculous. Either you tie me up and leave me here or I'm leaving right now. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. After speaking, Huamin walked out confidently. Boss, are we letting Miss Mian go just like that? One of his subordinates ran over and asked. He seemed to know that the boss was someone he had invited with great difficulty. How could he let him go so easily? Let her go. There's no hurry. Huasiqian sent a short video to Qin Chu's phone. With a ring, Qin Chu received a video call. When he opened it, his face slowly darkened. They couldn't hear anything, but they could see that Huamin and Huasiqian were sitting face to face. Huasiqian was still peeling the shrimp and handing it to Huamin. The image ended there. It only lasted for about 7 to 8 seconds. Daddy, what's wrong? Little Bean was watching TV on the side and saw that her daddy's face didn't look right. It's nothing. It's just a spam message. After Qin Chu said that, he closed his phone and didn't say anything else. Not long after, Huamin came home. Hello, babies. Mommy, you're home so late today. Are you working overtime at the hospital again? Little Bean asked. Yeah. The hospital has been very busy lately. There are a lot of surgeries, Huamin explained randomly. You just had a surgery? Qin Chu asked casually. Yeah. What? Huamin replied, not noticing anything. Nothing. Have you eaten? Yeah. Huamin didn't have much of an appetite, so he lied. I'm going upstairs to take a shower. I'm so tired. After Huamin said that, he went upstairs. However, he didn't notice the subtle change on Qin Chu's face. 9 p.m. After Qin Chu finished dealing with company matters in the study, he returned to the bedroom. Huamin was already lying on the bed with a medical research book in his hand. You're done. Huamin rolled over and hugged Qin Chu's waist. Yeah. Honey, what's wrong with you today? You don't seem to be in a good mood. Seeing how worried Qin Chu was, Huamin couldn't help but ask. Honey, has Huasiqian been looking for you lately? Qin Chu asked casually. Chapter 2471. No, why do you ask? Huamin felt a little guilty when he said this. He didn't want Mr. Qin to worry, so he didn't dare to talk about what happened tonight. Plus, if he told the truth, Mr. Qin might go look for Shin Mingxi and Hui Yanyan. Nothing, I'm just asking. Then Qin Chu lay down and closed his eyes. You're sleeping so early? What time is it? Huamin laid on Qin Chu's chest and whined. Honey, I'm a little tired. Let's sleep. Oh, all right then. Huamin knew he was asking for trouble, so he lay down beside Qin Chu, turned around and closed his eyes. The atmosphere between the couple was a little weird, but they both had their own thoughts and didn't want to say it out loud. The truth was, sometimes misunderstandings were scary. If they couldn't be resolved, it would only get worse and worse. The next morning, when Huamin woke up for breakfast, he didn't see Qin Chu. Mrs. Qin woke up early and made dumplings for the twins with the maids in the kitchen. Mom, where's Chu? Huamin picked up a glass of milk and took a sip. Oh, he went to work. So early? Huamin was a little surprised. He said he had to go to the construction site first, so he left a little early. He also told me not to wake you up and let you sleep a little longer. Lady Qin smiled. After a simple breakfast, Huamin drove to South Side. However, just as he was about to reach South Side, the car broke down at a fork in the road. Embarrassed, Huamin forced the car into the emergency lane and was about to call the repair shop. Just as he was about to call the phone, he saw a flashy purple Ferrari parked by the side of the road. What's wrong? Huamin. My car has a problem. Pointing to his car, Huamin said. Let me have a look, Lu Zhe said as he walked over. You know how to fix cars? A little. After that, he walked to the front of the car, lifted the hood and checked the engine. You have parts that need to be replaced. You should go to the 4S shop for repairs. All right. Huamin then called the repair shop and got ready to flag down a taxi. It's not that far away. Why are you still taking a taxi? Come on, we're all colleagues. I'll give you a ride. Lu Zhe smiled. Huamin was a little embarrassed, but he still got into his car. Because it was a supercar, there were only 2 seats. Huamin had no choice but to sit beside him in the front passenger seat. Seat belt, he reminded her with a smile. Huamin put on his seatbelt and the two of them headed to South Side. To be honest, I didn't expect you to really become a doctor, Lu Zhe said. That's always been my dream. It's not surprising, Huamin replied as he looked out the window. If Qin Chu didn't come back to find you, would you have married your university boyfriend? Lu Zhe asked. You seem to know a lot about me. Huamin looked at Lu Zhe cautiously. If I told you that I've always been interested in you, would you believe me? Lu Zhe's eyes were looking straight ahead, his hands on the steering wheel were white and slender. Lu Zhe didn't have Qin Chu's indifference and arrogance, nor did he have Su Yu's domineering shyness. He was more like a gentle and refined prince, gentle with a hint of elegance, easygoing with a hint of gentlemanly. After Huamin heard this, he only smiled faintly. What are you smiling about? You don't believe me? Lu Zhe tilted his head and looked at her. No, I just wanted to say that if it wasn't for this class reunion, and if it wasn't for the class monitor reminding me so many times, I really wouldn't remember who you are. After Huamin finished speaking, Lu Zhe's expression changed. Chapter 2472. Haha, sometimes the way you talk is really... Lu Zhe smiled awkwardly. You don't give people face, right? Or are you trying to act cool? Huamin finished for him. Not really, but Hansu is right. Your style is still the same as before. You're always so direct, Lu Zhe commented with a smile. I'm a simple person. It's either black or white. That way life isn't so tiring. Yes, you're right. That way life is indeed more carefree, Lu Zhe agreed. Huamin only smiled and didn't say anything else. Huamin, are you and Qin Chu happy? He suddenly asked. Of course. Then, you must love him a lot, right? Of course, Huamin answered firmly. I'm so envious of Qin Chu. He has a wife who's so devoted to him, huh? You're wrong. I think more women envy me for having a husband who loves me more than his own life. Just then the car slowly drove into the south side parking lot. Huamin looked at his watch. I'm running out of time. I have to go upstairs for a meeting. Thank you for giving me a ride. After speaking, Huamin hurriedly got out of the car and ran into the hospital lobby. Lu Zhe looked at the back of the car thoughtfully. His eyes became deep in thought. After the meeting, Huamin was about to return to his office when a nurse from the obstetrics and gynecology department rushed over. Vice Director, we have an emergency in the obstetrics and gynecology department. Director Zhao asked me to come find you. The nurse was out of breath from running. Speak slowly. What's going on? We had a patient come in last night. She saw red and wanted to deliver naturally. But, it's been almost 10 hours since last night and her cervix still hasn't opened. Just keep waiting. These are all normal occurrences. No, she's in so much pain that she's about to collapse. Director Zhao just checked her and found that the position of the child has changed. Now, every time the mother exerts force, the fetus will run to the left and won't go down at all. Director Zhao said that the position is wrong and it's a difficult labor. He's afraid that the mother is in danger. Then what are we waiting for? Hurry up and perform the cesarean section. Huamin made a prompt decision. Chief Zhao said the same thing, but the pregnant woman's husband, mother-in-law, and eldest sister-in-law didn't agree to the surgery at all. They refused to sign the papers and scolded Chief Zhao for being an unscrupulous doctor who wanted to cheat them of their money. That's why they allowed the surgery. Ridiculous. How could there be such an ignorant family member? Huamin's face darkened. Yes, the situation is very urgent now. Seeing that the mother can't hold on any longer, we are all worried about the safety of the mother and the child, but her family is still determined to let her have a natural birth. We are in a stalemate and we really don't know what to do. Director Zhao asked me to come to you and ask you to think of a way. In this situation, should our hospital intervene or not? I'll go take a look. Huamin's face was cold as he handed the documents in his hand to Chen Jia. Then he hurried to the gynecology and obstetrics department with the nurse. This kind of situation was rare. After all, everyone had to pay attention to the safety of the mother and child. Not many people were so ignorant. However, there were all kinds of fish in the sea. Today they might have encountered a weirdo. Chief Zhao was only a gynecologist, so she didn't dare to make such a decision. If she insisted on performing a cesarean section and the family members caused a scene, there would be a lot of trouble in the future. Paying a monetary penalty was the least of it. If she didn't handle it well, there would be complaints and her career would be over. If she didn't do anything and let the family members cause a scene, the mother and child's lives were in danger, and the family members wouldn't let it go. At the end of the day, no matter what she did, it seemed wrong. No one dared to take on such a hot potato. President Wu was out of town for a meeting, so she could only ask Huamin to solve this problem. When Huamin arrived, he directly pushed through the crowd and walked up to the bed to see the mother. Hey, who are you? Why did you come in? The mother's unruly mother-in-law looked at Huamin impolitely. Chapter 2473. This is Deputy Director Hua. He's also a very authoritative doctor, the nurse introduced. The old lady's expression softened a little when she heard that Huamian was the deputy director. Since he's the deputy director, hurry up and arrange for my daughter-in-law to enter the delivery room. Give birth to my grandson as soon as possible, the old lady ordered. Huamin ignored the old lady. He walked directly to the bed and glanced at the pregnant woman. The woman's face was pale and she was sweating profusely. She didn't seem to be in a clear state of mind. The pain was probably too severe. Huamin reached out and touched her forehead. Fortunately, she didn't have a fever. He checked her heart rate and blood pressure and found that they were starting to rise. Are you okay? Huamin held the woman's hand and asked softly. The woman slowly opened her eyes and glanced at Huamin. Then she nodded reluctantly. She seemed to be in so much pain that she couldn't speak. You don't have to speak. Listen to me. Your situation is very dangerous. We've done a checkup on you and found that the position of the fetus has deviated. The ultrasound shows that the fetus is obviously too big. If you insist on a natural birth, your life will be in danger. Not only you but the baby may also suffocate during the birth. So we plan to do a C-section for you immediately. However, your family members won't sign the papers, so I'm going to ask you if you can put your fingerprint on it. If you agree, we'll do it immediately. If you insist on a natural birth, you'll have to bear the consequences later. It'll be too late for regrets. I'll give you a minute to think about it. If you agree, nod your head. Before the woman could say anything, her mother-in-law exploded. What do you want to do? We've already said that we don't want surgery. You deceptive doctors and black-hearted hospitals just want to cheat us of our money. We all know that. A natural birth only costs a few thousand, but a C-section can easily cost tens of thousands. You've scammed us all. You unscrupulous doctors, don't touch my daughter-in-law. We want a natural birth. In her current situation, it's not a natural birth. Her life will be in danger, Huamin explained. Stop trying to scare us. I'll just say that your skills are not up to par. If you don't dare to do it, we'll immediately transfer to another hospital. We'll go to the first hospital to do it. You doctors, your medical skills are not up to par and you still want to trick us. You're really wicked. Based on the current situation, both adults and children will be in danger if they are transferred to another hospital, Huamin continued. I don't believe your nonsense. Son, go call a taxi. Let's go. The old lady was very angry. She turned her head and looked at her son who was standing behind her. The man was about 1.8 meters tall, but he looked like a yes man. He didn't have any ideas and listened to his mother. He looked like a typical mommy's boy. Huamin ignored them and approached the woman again. Have you thought it through? You have to make a choice for the safety of you and your baby. Otherwise, your mother-in-law will transfer you to another hospital. If something happens to you along the way, even the gods won't be able to save you. Don't let your ignorance waste an innocent life. Perhaps Huamin's words made the pregnant woman waver. In the end, she nodded. Do you agree to the surgery? Huamin asked. The woman nodded again. Xiaolin, go get the surgery risk report. I'll ask the woman to sign it herself. Hey, Deputy Director. How dare you? If you do the surgery for us, I'll sue your hospital until you go bankrupt. I'm telling you. The ignorant old lady blocked the young nurse from getting the risk report. Xiaolong, go and inform Chief Zhao and the others to prepare for the surgery. I'll send the woman to the operating room now. Hey, Deputy Director. Why are you still standing there? Come and stop this woman. The old lady was also anxious. She yelled at her son behind her. The man seemed to have just woken up from a dream. He walked over and stopped Huamin, not letting her move. If you do this, your wife and child will die. Do you know that? Huamin questioned coldly. Chapter 2474. The man hesitated for a moment. Son, don't listen to this woman's nonsense. A C-section isn't good for my grandson. I gave birth to you before the C-section was done and I was still healthy. Hospitals nowadays are really killing people. The old lady continued to nag. Huamin couldn't take it anymore. He pushed the man away and dragged the woman out of the room. What are you doing? Are you crazy? The old lady panicked when she saw Huamin's stubbornness. What are you looking at? Hit her. The old lady urged her son to hit Huamin. The man's eyes met with Huamin's and he immediately softened. If you dare to touch me, I promise you'll regret it for the rest of your life, Huamin said sternly. I feel sorry for your wife. She entrusted her happiness to a coward like you. Get out of the way. Don't stop me from saving people. Huamian pushed the man away forcefully. Then she and the nurse on standby pushed the mother's bed out of the room. Everything was done so quickly and cleanly. All the onlooking medical staff couldn't help but praise Huamian in their hearts. Hurry up and stop her. Are you crazy? The old lady began to beat her son and complained. Mom, forget it. If Liping doesn't have surgery soon, she'll be in danger, the man finally said. You believe these bullshit doctors? The old lady roared. If you don't believe them, don't stay in the hospital when you're sick. You're so good, you should go home and recover. One of the doctors couldn't take it anymore and said to the old lady. Hey, how can you say that? What kind of person are you? The old lady seemed to be biting everyone she saw. No one was around to watch. I'm telling you, when that deputy director comes out, I'll sue her. I'll complain to her as much as I can, the old lady said angrily. Then hurry up and go. We'll see how our deputy director's husband kills you. A few nurses snickered and ran over. Vice Director, just now, you were really domineering, a young nurse said excitedly. That's right. I didn't expect Department Director Hua, who usually looks so gentle, to be so powerful. It really made the mother and son blush with shame. This woman is lucky. Otherwise, if we didn't dare to do the surgery, we might have really killed both her and her son. I heard that when Department Director Hua was an intern nurse at the first hospital, she performed surgery on a pregnant woman without permission. At that time, she was even accused by the woman's family. I really didn't expect such a shameless person to repay kindness with ingratitude. But then again, the deputy director is really awesome. No wonder President Wu trusts her so much. He's really powerful. Yeah, that's why she has such a good husband. If I were a man, I would love a woman like her to death. Although she doesn't have the looks to cause the downfall of a country, she is really charming. Yeah. A few young nurses talked as they walked. When Lu Zhe came out of the cardiac surgery department, he heard the whole hospital talking about it. What's wrong? What kind of earth-shattering thing has our Vice Dean Hua done this time? Lu Zhe asked his assistant with a smile. Chapter 2475. Dr. Lu, you didn't see that wonderful scene just now? Our deputy director is so awesome. He single-handedly fought against an unreasonable and stupid mother and son and saved the life of a pregnant woman. Oh no, although the pregnant woman doesn't know the situation now, our team is confident in Deputy Director Hua's medical skills. We believe that the mother and child will be safe and sound. The assistant excitedly explained the situation to Lu Zhe. He immediately felt deep respect for Hua Min. No wonder this woman was a legend at Southside. It seemed that she was indeed extraordinary. Excuse me, is Dr. Hua Min here? Su Yu walked in wearing a white Versace suit with one hand in his pocket and asked at the door. Young Master Su, please wait a moment. Boss. The nurse in the lobby was so excited that her heart almost jumped out of her chest when she saw Su Yu. Su Yu had been hospitalized at Southside before and would occasionally visit Hua Min, so all the nurses at Southside knew him. Especially his limited edition Lamborghini Sixth Element. It was so cool that no one had friends. After making a phone call, the nurse blushed and said, Vice Director Hua is having surgery in the OB/GYN department. She'll be out soon. Young Master Su, can you wait for a moment? Okay, I'll wait for her in the office. Then Su Yu walked directly to Hua Min's office. Vice Director Hua is so lucky. She's good friends with young Master Su. The nurse looked at Su Yu with infatuation. Outside the OB/GYN department, Dr. Hua housed the mother. The nurses were very concerned about the mother's health. She's fine now. Thank goodness we saved her in time. Hua Min took off her mask and let out a long sigh of relief. Where's my grandson? Is he okay? The old lady suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Hua Min glanced at her and said coldly, Your daughter-in-law gave birth to a little princess. What? The old lady immediately raised her voice. It's a girl? The man was obviously surprised. It's a baby girl. 8 kilograms. She's white and fat. With this weight, it's impossible for your wife to give birth naturally. Fortunately, the surgery was done. After Hua Min finished speaking, he walked tiredly to his office. The old lady and the man obviously didn't believe it. They wanted to rush in, but they were stopped. Family members, please wait for a moment. The mother will be out soon. We want to see the child. The old lady was very excited. The child will be out soon. Wait patiently. Hua Min laughed in relief. To be honest, he knew that the old lady favored boys over girls and kept calling him her grandson. So when Hua Min told her that it was a baby girl, he felt really good when he saw the stunned expression on her face. It was fine not to stay in such a family, but what was wrong with giving birth to a daughter? Were girls not good enough? If everyone gave birth to a boy, where would they find a wife? Was the whole world going to be gay? Thinking of this crazy idea, Hua Min couldn't help but laugh. She laughed out loud. What's so funny? Lu Zhe popped out of nowhere, scaring Hua Min. You, drink something. I just heard about your heroic deeds. Dr. Hua, you're really amazing. Lu Zhe handed over a bottle of Red Bull to Hua Min to replenish his energy. But surprisingly, she didn't take it. She wouldn't easily drink a drink from a stranger, especially Lu Zhe, whom she suspected. Thank you, but it's not that I don't like drinks. Plain water suits me better. Just as Lu Zhe was about to say something, he saw Su Yu walking over from afar. Lu Zhe stopped immediately and stopped following Huamin. Mian, you're done with the surgery? Suyu smiled gently. Lord Su, why are you so free today? Seeing Suyu, Huamin was a little surprised. Chapter 2476. I'm not busy today, so I came to see you. Do you have time for lunch? Suyu smiled. Right now. I have to see patients in the afternoon. How about we go to the cafeteria for lunch? Do you mind? Huamin smiled. I don't mind, it's your treat. Mr. Rich God, don't cheat me. I'm from a small family. I can't compare to a prince like you who spends money like water. Okay, stop teasing me. Go. Huamin and Suyu talked and laughed as they walked towards the hospital cafeteria. Huamian ignored Lu Zhe's presence and didn't even spare him a glance. Lu Zhe stared at Huamin and Suyu's backs with a complicated expression. Hey Dr. Lu, you didn't go for lunch? Qin Jia came out of Huamin's office and saw Lu Zhe standing not far from the door. I wanted to go with Dr. Hua, but her friend came. Yeah, Mr. Su is a good friend of our director, Qin Jia said proudly. Really? Have they known each other for a long time? Lu Zhe asked tentatively. Yeah, a few years. Su seems to be good to Dr. Hua, Lu Zhe said meaningfully. They're good friends, of course they're good friends. Mr. Su is good to all his friends and he's also good friends with our director's husband, President Qin Jia explained to prevent gossip from spreading. Okay, I understand. Dr. Hua is a legendary woman. Lu Zhe smiled and walked away. Qin Jia tilted her head and curiously asked the other nurses to walk forward. Xiao Jia, did you notice? Why do I feel that this new Dr. Lu seems to be very interested in our director? Don't talk nonsense. The chief has a husband and a child. She doesn't like gossip. Qin Jia was a little annoyed. Oh, I'm not trying to smear the director's reputation. What I mean is, could it be that our director is too outstanding, so this new Dr. Lu admires her too? I heard that Dr. Lu's family is also very rich, and the car he drives is a limited edition Ferrari. He's the standard tall, rich and handsome man. If only he likes me. The young nurse was infatuated. In the corner of the cafeteria, Huamin helped Suyu get a big bowl of rice. I got you some eggplant with garlic sauce, sweet and sour fish and stir-fried broccoli. Is that okay? Sure, I'm not picky. Suyu smiled. It seemed like it had been a long time since the two of them ate face to face like this. Suyu had been deliberately keeping a distance from Huamin. He was afraid that others would gossip and Qin would misunderstand. Are you here to hang out or are you here to see me? Huamian asked casually. I miss you, so I'm here to see you. Can't I? Suyu said directly. Huamin was speechless and his expression became very unnatural. Seeing this, Suyu explained, Hey, I'm just kidding. Don't take it seriously. I'm so busy all day, how can I have time to miss you? Do you really think you're a fairy? When I have time I go out and pick up girls. What's wrong? Is there a new situation? Huamin smiled. My old man always tries to introduce me, but none of those crooked melons and dates are good enough for me. Then what kind of girl are you looking for? Huamin asked as he ate. No matter what, I have to find a girl like Anne Hathaway. Suyu said the name of a Hollywood superstar. Huamin almost burst out laughing. What are you laughing at? Suyu scratched his head and looked very cute. Chapter 2477. Anne Hathaway? Excuse me, is she the actress who played the White Queen in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland? Yeah, isn't she pretty? Your taste isn't good. Huamin couldn't help but laugh. Forget it, it's not the same as a country girl's taste. Suyu waved her hand and deliberately teased Huamin. Okay, it's my honor to have lunch with you, Lord Su. Come have some more braised pork. Huamin picked out the braised pork from his plate and put it on Suyu's plate. Huamin didn't like fatty meat, so she usually put it in Qin bowl. So it had become a habit. She didn't think much of it, but Suyu's heart was full of happiness. Looking at the braised pork that she picked up for a moment, Suyu couldn't bear to eat it. Why are you in a daze? You don't like fatty meat either? Oh, I like it. Suyu lowered her head and ate the piece of meat in one big bite. I'm so tired today. It's been a long time since such an urgent situation. Focusing on the surgery is more tiring than working overtime for a week, Huamin complained. What are so many doctors in your hospital doing? You're already the deputy director, why do you still have to do this? I don't understand. Suyu complained because she felt sorry for Huamin's work intensity. It's not like that. Today's situation was a little special. The other doctors didn't dare to take responsibility. Then Huamin briefly told Suyu what happened. Suyu widened her eyes and looked at Huamin. What? What's with that look? You did something that no one else did. Are you a tiger? Suyu glared at her. Huh. Suyu's words made Huamin burst out laughing. You're still laughing? Should be more careful. Suyu was speechless. As the deputy director, I have to do my best to save the patient's life. This is my responsibility. I can't say that I'm a doctor to save the dying and heal the injured. In fact, I'm not that great of a person, but I absolutely can't watch the patient die in front of me. I won't allow such a thing to happen. As for other things, I really don't think too much about it. What if her husband hits you? Silly girl. Tiu was still scared. What if Huamin was beaten up by such an unreasonable mother and son? After all, she was a weak woman. I'm not that weak, okay? Although I'm different from Ning Ning and the others and I don't know Taekwondo, I still have anesthetics on me. If they push me too far, I'll give them acupuncture. Plus, this is Southside, my territory. My colleagues won't let me suffer, so don't make a fuss. Damn it. I really think you're risking your life by doing this job. Suyu was unhappy. Hey, let's not talk about this. Do you want some soup? I'll go get you a bowl. No, I'm full. All right. I came here today to give you something. Where is it? It's in your office. What is it? Huamin froze. Grandpa brought it back from Jing City. He said it's the most advanced remote-controlled robot. Can sing, dance, chat, play games, and even fight. So fun. I heard it's a technology company that hasn't started selling it yet. When Grandpa went abroad for a visit, they gave it to him. Grandpa was even funnier. He thought it was interesting and asked me to give it to the twins. Lord Su is so nice. Thank him for me. He likes the twins. You're welcome. Suyu, I actually want to tell you something, and can you not be angry when you hear it? Huamin stammered. Tell me first. I'll decide if I'm angry or not. Suyu smiled. Chapter 2478. Now that you mention it, I don't dare to say anything. Huamin looked at Suyu, who was smiling so innocently, and suddenly didn't dare to say anything. Oh, just say it. I won't get mad at you. In fact, Suyu was thinking, when did I ever get mad at you? Really? I'm not well educated. Don't lie to me. Huamin didn't seem to believe him. Really? Say it. Hurry up. Suyu's impatience rose and he began to urge him. Here's the thing. At Southside there are actually a lot of good single girls. There are straight-A students with high academic qualifications, beautiful goddesses, extremely intelligent Lolas, and those with good family backgrounds. I did a comparison. There's an outstanding female anesthesiologist in the anesthesiology department. She's new here not long ago. Apparently her family background is good and she's very hardworking. Most importantly, she has the face of a celebrity, very much like that celebrity Louis Fei. She's very beautiful, pure, and otherworldly. A lot of male doctors in the hospital are chasing after her, but she rejected them all. I guess she's a girl with character, so I want to ask you, do you want to get to know her? Huamin worriedly finished the story and Suyu immediately understood. Huamin was going to introduce him to a girl. This day finally came. Hearing this, Suyu didn't say anything. He lowered his head and ate slowly. Huamin became even more nervous. When he saw Suyu, he suddenly remembered what Little Bean said before. She thought that if it was for Suyu's good, he shouldn't keep him single. If there were any good girls, he should introduce them to him. But with Suyu's temper, he wouldn't hesitate. She was afraid that he would get mad at her, so she stuttered and told him her purpose. You're not mad, are you? Huamin asked anxiously. Suyu picked up a tissue and elegantly wiped his mouth. Then he looked up at Huamin. But why should I be angry? Do you think I'm so petty? No, that's not it. I'm just afraid that you'll think too much and think that What do you think of me? Continue. Suyu looked at Huamin. Huamin felt even more awkward. I was afraid that you would think that I was meddling in other people's business. Meddling? How could that be? He didn't. You're doing this for my sake. You took the initiative to introduce girls to me. Isn't that great? For some reason, Huamin felt an inexplicable sadness in his heart when he heard Suyu's words. Siyu but Mion, are you sure such a nice girl isn't gay? Siyu suddenly asked. Huamin didn't know what to say. Why are you so serious? I was just joking. Siyu laughed. I'm really doing this for your own good. Huamin anxiously tried to explain. I know, Mion. You don't have to explain. I've known you for a long time and know you very well. I know that you wouldn't do anything to hurt me, Siyu said with a serious expression. Huamin immediately nodded. Yes, I'm glad that you think so. Nielingxian came to you before, right? Siyu asked. You mean Cece's sister? She is actually quite nice. At least I don't think she's the same type of person as Zhao Qingya, Jian Tong or Mo Shui, Huamin commented objectively. Even so, I still don't like her. I know. That's why I wanted to ask you if you want to meet the girls in our hospital, Huamin said word by word. Mion, if I say yes, will you be happy? Siyu asked her affectionately. Chapter 2479. Huamin didn't know what to say. You don't have to say anything else, just tell me if you're happy or not, Siyu asked. Of course I'm happy for you. I feel the same way as Lord Su, putting Mr. Su and Mrs. Su. You can't be alone forever. Huamin said slowly. If you're happy then. I promise you. Huamin was surprised to see Siyu being so agreeable. I promise you. You can arrange a time to meet and let me know. Thank you for lunch, Mion. Rest well and take care of yourself. Then Siyu got up and left. After he left, Huamin came back to her senses. She suddenly felt that Siyu was a little sad today. Wasn't it too cruel for him to do this? Huamin thought to herself. After a busy afternoon, it was time to get off work. Huamin's car was sent for maintenance, so she didn't have a car to drive. Dr. Hua, let me drive you. I know you live in South Hill Manor. Although it's not on my way, I can drive you to Wanshi Road. You can take the subway yourself. It'll be more convenient. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in traffic during rush hour. Lu Zhe parked his flashy purple Ferrari in front of Huamin, attracting a lot of attention. It's okay. Thank you, Dr. Lu. I've already called my husband. He'll come pick me up. If that's the case, all right then. Then Lu Zhe drove away. Only then did Huamian slowly take out her phone. In fact, she had lied just now, she hadn't called Mr. Qin. She took out her phone and called Qin Chu's phone, but it was turned off. He guessed it was out of battery. Then she called the company's landline. A young lady. Assistant Yang picked up the phone. Where's my husband? Chairman Qin is working overtime in a meeting. There's a problem with the project, so the partner sent someone to discuss with Chairman Qin how to solve it. What happened? Is it serious? Huamin's heart was in his throat again. It's not serious. It's just a problem with the ratio. There was a slight mistake, but Boss Qin wants it to be perfect, so he pointed it out very seriously. That's good. A young lady, what's the matter? President Qin's phone is charging. Do you want me to take it to him? That won't be necessary. I don't have anything to do. Let him be. Don't disturb him. A young lady. After hanging up the phone, Huamin touched the tip of his nose. It seemed that he really had to take a taxi home today. With this thought in mind, he casually flagged down 1 or 2 taxis. Then, just as Lu Zhe said, it was really congested. Everywhere was congested, probably because of the weather. Once it snowed in the north, traffic would be paralyzed immediately because the roads were too slippery. Sea City had about 5 months of winter in a year, so the cycle of snow was relatively long. Miss, it's too congested here. Can I take a detour for you? It's probably only a few dozen yuan and you don't look like someone who needs money. If you agree, I'll take you through some alleys. If you don't agree, we'll wait here. Don't worry. The taxi driver was an impatient person. Even in a traffic jam, he was sweating profusely. Sure, you can take a detour. Huamin was also in a hurry to go home. Who would want to wait here in snowy weather? Therefore, he and the driver took a detour through a few alleys and took another road. But to his surprise, when he passed by a secluded path, Huamin saw someone familiar. Driver, can you stop here for a second? Huamin said. Chapter 2480. The taxi driver stepped on the brakes and stopped by the side of the road. Huamin took out 100 yuan and tossed it to the driver. He didn't even give the driver the change before he hurriedly got out of the car. In the snow, Huamin stood in front of a rundown car repair shop. He looked at the familiar man who was repairing someone's car. Hurry up, mister. I'm in a hurry. "Okay, I'll be right there." Huamin stood there. If he didn't see it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed that he would one day end up like this. Huamin bit his lips and forced himself to speak. Wei Dong. Wei Dong heard someone call his name and subconsciously stood up. The moment he saw Huamin, his expression changed. Then he smiled awkwardly. "Huamin, why are you here?" "I was passing by and saw you, so I came down to take a look." It's cold outside. Don't just stand there. Come in and talk." Wei Dong was quite enthusiastic. He invited Huamin in. Actually, the inside of this rundown car repair shop wasn't much warmer than the outside. Seeing Wei Dong like this, Huamin couldn't help but feel a little sad. Although he had heard about Wei Dong's tragic ending during the class reunion, he didn't expect to see it with his own eyes. He still felt sad. "Wait for me, I'll finish fixing this." Huamin nodded. Then he held the Chanel bag and stood to the side, quietly waiting for him. About 10 minutes later, Wei Dong finished fixing the car. After he received the money, he sent the car owner away. Then he rushed into the bathroom to wash his hands before coming out. He was wearing old blue work clothes. Compared to his old self who wore branded clothes, it was like heaven and earth. It was also the biggest irony. "I didn't expect you to find me here," Wei Dong joked. "Wei Dong, aren't you selling cars at a 4S shop? How could it be?" Huamin was a little embarrassed to be too direct. I did sell cars, but the economy is in a slump recently and the price ratio is low. Our sales aren't good either, and the money I make isn't enough to sustain my life. After my father and uncle got into trouble, all of my family's assets were taken back. My mother suffered a huge blow and fell ill. Now she needs a lot of medical fees every day. I can only get 5 or 6,000 yuan a month from selling cars. We still have to rent a place to eat and it's not enough. So I rented this place and come here after work to repair cars." Wei Dong's words were very sincere, and the look in his eyes was also incomparably sincere. There was no longer the arrogance from before. "Did you just get off work?" Wei Dong looked at Huamin. Huamin nodded. "Yeah, there was a traffic jam, so the taxi driver took a shortcut. That's how I saw you. Then are you in a hurry? If you're not, I'll treat you to a meal. It's rare for old classmates to meet," Wei Dong offered. "Sure." When Wei Dong was rich, he didn't even have the chance to eat with Huamin alone. Now that he was in dire straits, he casually offered. He didn't expect Huamin to agree. This surprised him. "What do you want to eat?" Wei Dong asked. Huamin glanced at the snack bar across the street and finally said, "Let's have some noodles. I haven't eaten that in a long time." "Okay, that place is pretty good." Just like that, Wei Dong took Huamin to a very small noodle shop across the street. The two ordered 2 bowls of noodles and a few side dishes. Wei Dong looked at Huamin with a myriad of emotions in his heart. Today Huamin's net worth was probably over 10 billion yuan. He was a big shot in the upper class. As the vice director of Southside, a top hospital, and the CEO of a large corporation, his good friends were all either rich or powerful. Even someone like Su Yu, who was unapproachable by others, was a very good friend of Huamin's. Wei Dong felt that this kind of Huamin, even sitting in front of him, was so far away that he couldn't reach him. "I heard that you went to a class reunion a while ago. How was it? Was it lively?" Wei Dong took the initiative to pour a cup of hot tea for Huamin and then casually asked. Chapter 2481. "Yes, I did. But it was boring, so I won't go again," Huamin said faintly with her head lowered. "Oh really? Everyone must be talking about me. I'm in this state now. It's my own doing." Wei Dong could roughly imagine how his so-called classmates talked about him. How tiring would it be to live in the mouths of others? "Don't worry too much about it," Huamin comforted him. At this time the boss served 2 bowls of piping hot noodles. On a snowy day like this, the noodles looked especially appetizing. Huamin did not have any burden of being a goddess, so when she ate she never hesitated. Instead she picked up her chopsticks. She lowered her head and took big bites of the noodles. It was as if watching her eat was delicious. Wei Dong was first stunned, then he quietly watched Huamin. This was a scene he never dared to dream of. "What are you looking at? Hurry up and eat. It's going to get cold soon," Huamin reminded him. Yes. The two did not speak for a few minutes. They only cared about eating. Wei Dong's table manners were especially comical. He even drank the soup one mouthful at a time. It was a very down-to-earth scene. Right now, is your mother doing well? What's her illness? Is it serious? She's okay, but it's not very optimistic. She was hospitalized at the first hospital and had surgery. She still needs to take care of her body. Most importantly, it's heart failure. Oh, I see. Don't be too sad. Take good care of her. Everything will be fine. Yeah, I'm fine. It's not like it's just a day or two ago. I wasn't used to it at first, but now, I've accepted it. Haha, isn't there a poisonous chicken soup joke that's trending on the internet recently? It says that when God closes a door on you, don't despair because he might let another dog in. Wei Dong laughed. Humin also laughed. Yes, there's also a joke that says if you're not happy today, don't be sad, don't be depressed. Cheer up because you'll realize that tomorrow might not be as good as today. Wei Dong chuckled when he heard that. I didn't expect you to have such a funny side. Wei Dong was already like this, so there was no need for him to pretend. Even his smile was much more sincere than before. I've always been a joker. You didn't know before because you didn't understand me. Humin laughed. Yeah, the one who knows you the best is Qin Chu. He's really lucky to have you. Luckily he told me to back off. Otherwise I would have thought that I was really something and wanted to marry you. I'm really a toad that wants to eat swan meat. I'm not a swan. At most I'm an ugly duckling, Humin mocked himself. The ugly duckling turned into a white swan in the end. What a perfect example of a comeback. Wei Dong teased. No, the ugly duckling turned into a white swan because its parents were originally swans. It has good genes and it has nothing to do with turning the tides. Fine. You're trying to feed me poisonous chicken soup again, right? Sometimes life is like this. What you need isn't necessarily chicken soup. Maybe you just need a slap. So Wei Dong, look on the bright side. There are bound to be ups and downs in life, but life goes on. Life is full of ups and downs. Yes, I've thought it through. Your fiancée, that's normal. She was with me because of money. It's expected that she would leave when I went bankrupt. I don't blame her. Wei Dong smiled like a man. What are your plans in the future? Humin looked at Wei Dong seriously and asked. Chapter 2482. In the future. To be honest, I didn't think too much about it. In my current state, there's no point in thinking about it. Wei Dong laughed self-deprecatingly. Humin nodded and didn't say anything else. He looked down at his watch and saw that it was almost time. There's probably no traffic now. I'm going to go now. Wei Dong nodded. Seeing Humin stand up, Wei Dong suddenly remembered something and said, by the way, Humin, I know. I won't tell my classmates that you're opening a car repair shop here. Humin thought that Wei Dong was afraid that his address would be leaked. No, I heard from Hansu that Lu Zhe came back from the class reunion? Wei Dong asked. Yes. Be careful of that guy. He's not as simple as he looks. I know. Thank you. Regardless, he still thanked Wei Dong for the reminder. Not long after Humin left, a female bank employee came over. Hello, are you Mr. Wei Dong? I am. And you are? Wei Dong looked at the strangers in front of him in confusion. I'm Miss Humian's personal wealth manager at the bank. Miss Hua asked me to help you with some financial matters. Financial matters? Wei Dong was even more confused. Let me put it simply. Miss Hua is willing to lend you 5 million yuan from her personal account. She also told me that she won't charge you any interest. She doesn't want you to feel pressured when you start your business. You just have to pay back the principal when you make money. After hearing this, Wei Dong was greatly shocked. Humin, Miss Hua doesn't think it's appropriate to tell you this in person. She's afraid that you'll overthink, so she sent me here. Mr. Wei, do you have our bank account? After you sign this document, I'll immediately transfer the money to you via mobile banking. You'll be able to use the funds. How much did you say? 5 million? Wei Dong asked, dumbfounded. Yes, Mr. Wei, you're so lucky to be Miss Hua's friend. Miss Hua has always kept a low profile and rarely flaunts her wealth. However, since she's willing to help you, it proves that you're worthy of her help. It's getting late, let's get started. Just like that, Wei Dong, who was still in a daze, received the 5 million yuan that Humin lent him. Perhaps in the past, Wei Dong would not have cared about 5 million yuan. At that time he was doing very well. But now, not to mention 5 million, even 50,000 yuan was not a small sum to him. Therefore, when Wei Dong received this sum of money, he only felt that it was heavy. Back then, he wanted to take advantage of Huamin's relationship with Qin Chu and Hu Xiqian to borrow a huge sum of money. He also wanted to take care of some personal matters, but Huamin rejected him. Later on, when he was drunk, he even complained in the group chat that Huamin was rich now and dogs loved and cared for him. In the end, he was scolded by Zhu Lingling. Later on, his family went bankrupt and he saw through the fickleness of human nature. He returned to his primitive state and started from the bottom of society. Only then did he realize who his friends were. The truth was, after Wei Dong's accident, he did not have a single trustworthy friend by his side. None of his classmates, including Han Su, lent him a single cent. As the saying goes, a single cent stumps a hero. However, under these circumstances, he still did not want to borrow money from Huamin because he knew that he would be rejected. However, today when he sincerely treated Huamin to a bowl of knife-shaved noodles, she actually lent him 5 million yuan without any interest. Huamin's actions shocked Wei Dong once again. She was never one to add flowers to a brocade, but she was willing to help Wei Dong in his hour of need. When Wei Dong was in poverty, she gave him a helping hand. Huamin's actions were admirable. After Huamin returned home for dinner, he was about to go downstairs to play with his daughters when he received a call from Wei Dong. "Huamin," he said solemnly. Chapter 2483. "Huamin, I got the money. Thank you." "You don't have to thank me. I'm not giving it to you for free. I'm lending it to you. You have to pay me back." If Wei Dong really didn't want to take it, he had to keep his dignity as a man. "I know. Anyway, thank you. I'll do my best to pay you back." "Okay." After hanging up, Huamin and the twins were eating fruit in the living room. Mama Qin and Mr. Qin were drinking tea with their old friends. Mr. Qin was working overtime and hadn't come home yet. The twins were playing with the high-tech robot that Suyu sent to Southside today. Even Pudding, who was young and mature, found this thing very novel. She kept studying the buttons and functions on the remote control. "Great-grandpa is so nice. He's thinking of us." Little Bean was overjoyed. "Of course. Mommy said that when we were just a few months old, Great-grandpa fought with Lord Su to hold us. He's such a cute old man. But sis, have you noticed that handsome Su has fallen out of favor ever since we came to this world?" Little Bean looked at her sister. "Yeah. Handsome Su is an adult. He won't care about these small details." "Oh right. If handsome Su wanted to get us toys, could he have sent them to our house? Why did he send them to Southside for Mommy?" Little Bean suddenly started gossiping. "Don't blame him. It's hard for him to find an excuse to see Mommy." Pudding looked like she understood. Huamian coughed violently. Don't talk nonsense. Your Uncle Su came to Southside to do a physical examination and give me the stuff. Hey, we're just joking. Mommy, don't take it so seriously." Little Bean looked at her mother's embarrassed face and smiled mischievously. "To be honest, Mommy, if Daddy didn't come back, would you really be able to stay chaste and reject Suyu's love?" Little Bean continued to tease her mother. "Little Bean, when your daddy comes back, you can ask him the same question again." Huamin smiled. "Oh, Daddy will get mad." Little Bean immediately shut up when she heard Huamian mention her father. The two brats were really troublesome. In fact, Suyu had sent the things to Southside and even had a meal with her. She didn't think it was necessary to go through so much trouble. She could directly bring the children to the Su family's villa or South Hill Manor. However, Suyu didn't do that. He wanted to hide his little secret, but it would still be seen by everyone. Huamin sometimes felt that Suyu was a smart person. But sometimes he was so silly that he was cute. At this moment, Qin Chu opened the door and returned. "Hubby, have you come back from the construction site?" Huamin asked. "Yes." "Have you eaten?" "Yes, I ate with a client." Huamin stood up. "You've worked hard. Shall I make you a cup of coffee?" "There's no need. Honey, take a seat. I'll go to the study. There are still some drawings that I haven't finished editing. I'll go take a look." Mr. Qin took the folder and went upstairs. "Mommy, what's wrong with you and Daddy recently? Did you guys fight?" Pudding turned around and asked carefully. "Oh. Then why do you guys look like you're in a Cold War?" Pudding didn't believe it. "Cold War? You're thinking too much. Maybe we've been too busy recently and haven't had time to talk about love." Huamin sighed slightly. "Mommy, you can't let your guard down. You have to hold on to Daddy tightly. Otherwise, another woman might take advantage of the situation." Putting instilled a sense of crisis into her mommy. Okay, my little princess. You two go have fun. Children shouldn't get involved in adult matters. Just then Huamin received a WeChat voice message. It was from Cici. Moon, are you free? I want to talk to you. Cici's voice sounded like she was about to cry. Huamin's heart skipped a beat when he heard this. Chapter 2484. Tell me, Cici. I think it was a mistake for me to come to the States. Cici's voice was choked with sobs. Calm down, Cici. Tell me slowly. What happened? Cici's stay in New Orleans had always been a worry for Huamin. He had seen Luna before, so he was worried that Cici would be in trouble if she went there. Plus, after Rick took over the family business, he had a lot of things to deal with. He didn't have much time to spend with her. Dreams were full, but reality was harsh. Before Cici went there, she thought everything was perfect. But after she went there, she realized that things weren't as easy as she thought. I'm in a bad situation right now. Cici, what's wrong? Did you have a fight with Rick? Huamin thought that although Rick didn't talk much, it was impossible for him to have a change of heart or abandon her. Unless they didn't communicate well, it was normal for them to have some conflicts and arguments. No, Rick is very, very good to me. He's very, very good to me. Cici corrected him. Then why are you so depressed? Huamin held his phone and quietly sent a WeChat message to Cici. I think I'm a burden to Rick. Cici's voice was full of guilt. Before Huamin could speak, Cici continued, Mion, I used to think about Rick's mafia identity and I didn't mind. But when I saw him kill people with my own eyes and when I was on the run with him, I realized that this kind of life is terrifying. So, you want to back out? Huamin asked her. No, that's not it. I just want to take Rick and jump out of this circle. I want to leave this life of living on the edge of a knife and live a normal life. Cici, don't be so naive. That's impossible. Cici was silent for a long time. Mr. Chin and I have been to New Orleans before and we've seen Rick's lifestyle. He's not someone who can give up easily. He has so many enemies and gangsters working with him. If he quits, it's hard to say whether he'll survive or not. Cici, everyone has the right to choose their own life. If you really don't like this kind of life, either you leave Rick or you have to face it with him. Mion, am I too weak? Cici asked in a low voice. No. For a girl who knows nothing, what you're doing is very brave. Mion, I'm not afraid of death, but I'm afraid of Rick dying. It's a contradiction, isn't? He's so young, I don't want him to live such a life. Cici, have you seen Luna? Is it the woman who claims to be Rick's fiancée? Cici asked. Yes. Not long after we came back, that woman came and tried to show off, but Rick kicked her out. Then she went to find her father, who wanted to kill me. When Rick found out, he was furious and turned against him. They fought, and not only did they end up cooperating with him, but Luna's father was also injured. Now that family is Rick's enemy. That's why I said that I'm a burden to Rick. People here don't like me because they think I brought bad luck to Rick. If he was with Luna, it would be better. Not only can't I help him, but I'm also causing trouble for him. So, Mion, what should I do? I'm so sad. With that, Cici began to sob again. Huamin could tell that Cici was depressed. Otherwise, she wouldn't be crying on WeChat. Chapter 2485. Cici, don't think that way about yourself. When I was with Mr. Chin, there were so many people who objected, but in the end, I insisted. Don't give up. As long as you think he's worth your love, don't give up. It's not easy to meet someone who loves you and who loves you back. Rick may not know how to express his feelings, but I can see that he cares about you. It's not easy for you two to get to where you are today. Don't give up so easily. Sister Mion, I'm not giving up. I'm not even afraid of death. How could I give up? I'm just afraid. I'm afraid that I'm really a jinx and that I'll drag Rick down with me. Don't care about other people's opinions. It'll be hard for you to live in their mouths. Listen to me and feel with your heart. Rick's family background is very complicated. He's had a lot of hatred since he was a child, and his parents didn't give him much love. After his parents passed away and his brother got into an accident, you're his only family in the world. Yes, I won't leave him. I have to be by his side no matter how hard it is. Cici seemed to have made up her mind. You have to take care of yourself. Luna seems to be a very vengeful woman. You have to be careful. Huamin rarely misjudged people, so he always told Cici to be careful of Luna. I will. Rick has sent people to protect me. She can't do anything. That's good, Sister Mion. I feel much better after talking to you. Thank you. You're welcome. If you're unhappy in the future, feel free to talk to me. I don't want to disturb your work. Even if I'm busy, I still have time to chat with you. Humin smiled. By the way, Sister Mion, did my sister talk to you? Cece asked hesitantly. She told you? Yeah, she called one day and mentioned it. My sister and President Su. Forget it, I don't want to care about her. She's too stubborn. But I know President Su won't like my sister, and he won't even like other women. She shouldn't ask for trouble. When it comes to love, no one else can do it for you. Your sister is a nice girl, but I can't set her up with me. Humin didn't want to create more problems for Suyu. After meeting Suyu in the hospital, Humin didn't like what Suyu had said. Therefore, he didn't plan to introduce a girlfriend to Suyu shamelessly. At the very least, she couldn't influence Suyu's life. Yeah, I know. Anyway, she's looking for you. Just don't say yes to her. She'll give up soon. My sister's personality isn't suitable for President Su. To be honest, if it weren't for Mr. Qin, I'd think you and President Su would be a good match. Only you can control President Su's temper. That's not it. I just don't want to spoil him. Humin smiled. Yes. Anyway, you're my idol forever. Okay, let's not talk about it anymore. I'm going to prepare dinner for Rick. Okay. After hanging up, Humin let out a long sigh. Everyone had their own difficulties. It wasn't easy for Cece to leave her hometown for love. It wasn't easy for Rick to fight against so many people in his family to protect Cece. At the end of the day, everyone was doing it for love. Just then his phone beeped. He received a text message. Humin looked down and his expression changed slightly. Chapter 2486. Man, it's been too long. I've waited for you for too long. I'm running out of patience. The final game between me and Qin Chu is about to begin. I know you won't stand on my side, but I'll show you what kind of person the man you love is. Then, you'll understand that in this world only I'll never change my feelings for you. You're crazy, Humian said casually after she finished reading it. She didn't expect Hua Xiqian to be serious this time. In a high-end club owned by Tang Chuan's family, Su Yu and some famous directors came to entertain clients and bumped into Shin Mingxi. Other than Su Yu, Shin Mingxi didn't have a good relationship with the others. Especially after his divorce with Wei Ying, he rarely saw Wei Liao and the others and didn't have any interactions. Lord Su, Shin Mingxi said. Hey, you're here too. Yeah, I'm with some clients next door. It's rare to see you. Do you want to have a drink with me? Sure. Su Yu's clients had just left and he didn't want to go home so early. Ever since Tang Chuan ran to the States, it was hard to find someone to drink with. Su Yu didn't think much of it. Seeing that it was still early, he followed Shin Mingxi into the private room next door. This is my buddy, Su Yu. Shin Mingxi introduced him as soon as they entered the room. Hearing Su Yu's name, the foreign developers all stood up. Some of them were as old as Su Yu's father. But when they saw Su Yu, they all stood up to greet him politely because they knew the Su family was very influential in the city. The old master of the Su family was an iron-blooded general with a high position in Jing City. His only grandson was one of the most powerful people in the city. Young Master Su, I've heard so much about you. Sit down. I'm just here for a few drinks. Don't stand on ceremony. Su Yu waved his hand and gestured for them to sit down. Shin Mingxi called a few innocent college girls to accompany the foreign developers. Then the two of them sat alone on the side with red wine glasses. Lord Su, you've been keeping a low profile lately. I haven't seen you around. You don't have a nightclub, a club, or a golf course. What's up with you? I thought you were on a business trip. Nope. Recently I've been working and going home. So monotonous. Shin Mingxi frowned, obviously not buying it. What else do you think I can do? Su Yu pursed his lips. Where's Master Tang? Doesn't he like to stick to you? Don't talk about that guy who values women over friends. He took a fancy to Qin Chu's biological sister and followed her to America. He didn't even want his mother anymore. Who am I to say I am? I've heard a thing or two about Tang Chuan and the daughter of the Qin family. At first, I thought it was just a publicity stunt and the media was making groundless accusations. I didn't expect it to be true. Well, everything has its vanquisher. Qin Chu's sister has subdued him. They're of equal social status. What about you? You don't have a date? Yeah, I'm all alone. I'll get you a girl. Do you like college students, good girls, or hot Russian dolls? I don't like either. Suyu shook his head. Don't tell me you still like Huamin, Shin Mingshi suddenly said. I can do whatever I like. It's my right to be in anyone's way, Suyu said jokingly. Lord Su, I have something to say, but I don't know if I should say it. Since you said so, you must have something to say. Go ahead, let me hear it. Suyu was in a good mood, so he started to talk about Huamin with Shin Mingshi. He rarely talked about Huamin with friends other than Wei Liao and Tang Chuan because he felt it was blasphemy. Chapter 2487. I think Huamin isn't as good as you think she is. Hearing Shin Mingshi's words, Suyu's face changed. Go on. He didn't refute immediately. Instead, he calmed himself down and continued to listen. I think this woman is very scheming. Think about it, she's not from a rich family, but she was able to marry Qin Chu. I have to admit that she has some skills. Plus, did you know that her mother is a mistress? Go on. Suyu lowered his head and rested his chin on his hand. She dated Qin Chu when she was still in school. When Qin Chu went abroad, she found another boyfriend. To put it bluntly, a woman like her isn't that great. I heard that she was about to marry that guy, but when Qin Chu came back, she immediately dumped that guy. I think his name was Ning Ziyuan. That wasn't all. After she married Qin Chu, she didn't let Qin Chu announce their marriage. She kept their marriage a secret and pretended that she was single. She used some unknown method to rise up the ranks in the hospital and was noticed by the director. She was promoted all the way until she volunteered to work at Southside Recuperation Center. Everyone knows that Southside Recuperation Center is a place for children of the upper echelons of society to recuperate. Everyone knows what she's up to. Then she ran into you when you were injured and hospitalized. Then she tried her best to make you like her, but you refused. That's why you've been secretly in love with her all these years. When Qin Chu got into an accident, she tried to get close to you, but when Qin Chu came back, she immediately kicked you away. I heard that she has an ambiguous relationship with Hua Xiqian. Even though they're not related by blood, they're still siblings in name. After all, they're both members of the Hua family. So, Lord Su, the onlooker sees more clearly than the onlooker. I don't know what you like about a woman like her. Anything else? Suyu looked up at Shin Mingshi quietly and asked. Shin Mingshi was surprised by Suyu's reaction, so he paused for a moment before saying, a few days ago Hua Xiqian kidnapped Yanyan's daughter. Hua Xiqian specifically asked to see Huamin. We went to beg her, but not only did she refuse, she even mocked us. Don't forget, when her daughter was kidnapped, our Yanyan risked her life to save the twins. Put yourself in her shoes and you can see a person's heart at a critical moment. Did she go in the end? Suyu asked. Oh, he did go, but he was very reluctant. He even said that it would be the last time he would help us. Yes. Suyu nodded. So Lord Suyu said. Before Shin Mingshi could finish, Suyu suddenly punched him in the face. The force was so strong that Shin Mingshi fell onto the sofa and blood came out of his nose. It was obvious how angry Suyu was. Lord Suyu. Shin Mingshi was dumbfounded. You don't know why I hit you, right? Suyu asked calmly. Shin Mingshi didn't say anything. Suyu bent down, grabbed Shin Mingshi's collar and pulled him up. Then he punched the right side of Shin Mingshi's face again. This time Shin Mingshi couldn't get up. He only felt dizzy and saw stars before his eyes. Lord Su, what's going on? The people around them were no longer in the mood to drink or sing, and they all came over to stop the fight. Get the fuck out of here. Or else don't blame me for being ruthless. Suyu was furious. After he yelled, everyone quietly left the room. Suyu pulled over a leather chair, sat on it and looked at Shin Mingshi, who was lying on the floor. Does it hurt? Suyu looked at him coldly and asked. Shin Mingshi hadn't seen Suyu so angry in a long time, and he was a little scared. Chapter 2488. Lord Su, you hit me to protect a woman? We've been buddies for so many years. Shin Mingshi felt wronged. Although he had known Suyu for many years, he wasn't as close as Wei Liao and Tang Chuan. However, it wasn't enough for Suyu to beat him up. How serious was this? Therefore, other than the shock in his eyes, Shin Mingshi felt wronged. Very good. You want to talk about buddies with me? Then let me tell you, if it weren't for the fact that we've known each other for so many years, I would have thrown you into the sea to feed the fish after what you said just now. It would have been as simple as punching you twice. I don't understand why that woman is so important to you. Moreover, she's going to be someone else's wife soon. Shin Mingshi didn't know Huamin very well, so he only saw and heard one-sided things. Naturally, he didn't understand why Suyu liked Huamin so much. Okay, I'll tell you why I hit you today. First, you slandered Huamin. You don't know her at all. You're just looking at things from a passerby's point of view. Most of what you see is what you hear. What right do you have to judge other people's lives? Second, you just said that you and Hu Yanyan went to Huamin and asked her to go see Hu Xiqian. Then you helped Hu Yanyan save her and beat her up, right? Shin Mingshi didn't dare to say anything else. He just listened quietly. If Qin Chu finds out about this, he'll probably kill you. Suyu was furious. You're right. I'm sure he'll hit you. Shin Mingshi still looked at Suyu in confusion. Do you know how dangerous that psycho Hu Xiqian is to Huamin? Even now, Qin Chu still sends people to protect her in secret because he's afraid that Hu Xiqian will attack her. However, you guys shamelessly begged Huamin to help you guys. That woman Hu Yanyan even used the fact that she saved Huamin's life so that she couldn't refuse. Do you know how much danger she had to take to see that psycho? Also, since Hu Yanyan likes to talk about saving Huamian, I'll tell you about it. Who was the one who kidnapped Huamian and the twins? It was Hu Yanyan's half-brother, Huamin. Also, if I remember correctly, when the Hu family was in dire straits, Hu Yanyan was bullied by your ex-wife, Wei Ying, a couple of times, and it was Huamin who stood up for her, right? Hu Xiqian was the one who caused Hu Xi's accident. However, knowing Hu Xiqian's style, he would never leave a loose end behind. Why is your precious Hu Yanyan still alive? Do you think it's because Hu Xiqian is kind? Or is it because your Hu Yanyan is the prettiest woman in the world? She's so beautiful that Hu Xiqian can't bear to hurt her? Suyu's words once again left Shin Mingshi speechless. Let me tell you, Hu Xiqian cares about Hu Yanyan. She's helped Hu Yanyan time and time again, and Hu Xiqian has seen it all. She's been emphasizing that Hu Yanyan has returned to her normal life and that Hu Xiqian shouldn't disturb her. You might not know this, but that psycho guy listens to Huamian the most. After Hu Xi's accident, Huamin has been looking for her. He even prepared a new house and money for her to do something for herself. However, Hu Yanyan disappeared without a trace. She didn't even say goodbye to Huamin. Of course, I don't know how she hooked up with you. I don't care about what you guys do, and I'm not interested in hearing about it. However, you slandered Huamin when you don't even know anything. You even have the audacity to talk about saving the children. Huamin has helped Hu Yanyan so many times, but she never took the initiative to help him. Hu Yanyan only helped him once, and Huamin should be grateful to her? What kind of logic is this? Lord Su, I didn't know that. Shin Mingshi lowered his head guiltily. Of course you didn't know. You're being played by that woman right now. How would you know? Lord Su looked at Shin Mingshi in annoyance. Chapter 2489. Yan Yan just wanted to save her child, Shin Mingshi explained. Then let me ask you, why did Hu Xiqian kidnap Hu Yanyan's daughter for no reason? Did he have too much time on his hands? Shin Mingshi remained silent. Why aren't you looking for an excuse this time? If I'm not wrong, Hu Yanyan must have pissed someone off, right? Oh right, I almost forgot. Hu Yanyan isn't that capable, and the recent negative news about the Hu Corporation doesn't seem to be Qin Chu's doing either. So, it was you, right? You did something, didn't you? I'm just worried about what Yan Yan went through these past few years. You know, if it weren't for Hu Xiqian, would she still be the high and mighty socialite of the Hu family? She wouldn't have ended up marrying a scumbag by mistake and giving birth to a single mother. She only has herself to blame. Speaking of her background, I want to ask you. You keep saying that Huamin's mother was a mistress, but what about Hu Yanyan's mother? Shin Mingshi remained silent. Jiang Hong is the only legal wife in the Hu family, right? Who does Shin Jiani think she is? A mistress that Chairman Hu kept when he was alive? I'm afraid she's the most high-profile mistress on earth, right? Not only did she live in someone else's house without a proper status, but she also gave birth to an adulterer's child. Shin Mingshi's expression darkened when he heard this. Besides, it's her own choice to marry a scumbag. Who's to blame? You keep saying that Huamian doesn't know how to love herself, that she's promiscuous and seductive, but as far as I know, Huamian has only had one man, Qin Chu. She's never had physical contact with another man. Before the Hu family went bankrupt, Hu Yanyan's private life was already rotten. Who knows how many men she slept with and how many children she had aborted. After the Hua family went bankrupt, she was despised and had to marry a scumbag. Shin Mingxi, you're a smart man. How did you fall for Hu Yinyan's tricks? It's bad enough that you were used, but how dare you talk about Hu Min's sins in front of me? Let me tell you, you didn't live the past 30 years for nothing. When I was in the army going through life and death training, you were still in school. I'm a good judge of character. I know best what kind of person Hu Min is. People like Hu Yanyan are nothing but clowns. She uses her little smarts to commit crimes and pretends to be a lotus flower in front of you. Over the years, not only has her IQ dropped, but her tastes have also become unusually vulgar. Today, I'm telling you that we're no longer brothers. Don't tell me that you're an idiot for a woman. You don't have such a stupid brother like you. After saying this, Suyu opened the door and walked out of the private room. With a loud bang, the door slammed shut. On both sides of the corridor, no one dared to make a sound. They all made way for Suyu. Suyu walked out of the nightclub with a dark expression on his face. But after giving Shin Mingxi a good scolding, he felt a lot better. Suyu took a deep breath. Then he got into his black Lamborghini and sped away. Young Master Shin, are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? After Suyu left, those people only dared to go in and help Shin Mingxi up. No need. No one is to mention what happened today. Otherwise, I won't let you go, Shin Mingxi reminded them. Yes, young Master Shin. Don't worry. We won't say a word. Shin Mingxi didn't expect that Suyu would beat him up so badly that his face was almost disfigured just because he said something bad about Hu Min. Should he say that Suyu was impulsive, or should he say that he wasn't careful enough? But Suyu's words did move him a little. Inside a high-end residential area. Mingxi, you're back? Are you hungry? I've made soup. Hu Yanyan walked out of the room in a slightly sexy lavender nightgown. You actually know that Hu Min went to beg Hu Xiqian that day. The consequences would be very dangerous, right? Shin Mingxi suddenly asked her. Chapter 2490. Mingxi, why are you asking this all of a sudden? Hu Yanyan's expression was unnatural. Did you already know? It's all in the past. Is it important? Hu Yanyan didn't dare to look him in the eye. I used to think I knew you, but now I find hee. After being beaten by Suyu, Shin Mingxi seemed to have sobered up a lot. Mingxi, what's wrong with you? Did someone say something to you? Or did Wei Ying start investigating me again? Nothing. Why is there a wound on your face? My God. Did you get into a fight? Hu Yanyan ran up to him in surprise. But before she could touch him, he pushed her away impatiently. After losing Suyu as a buddy, not to mention the benefits, the relationship they had built up over the years would go down the drain. Shin Mingxi didn't know how important Hu Min was to Suyu. After Suyu left, he was in a bad mood. He went back to his private mansion and slept until dawn. Then he went to work. At the headquarters, when Qin Chu arrived at the company, he didn't see Assistant Yang, who usually took care of the company. Where's Assistant Yang? Qin Chu walked to the secretary's office and asked. I'm not sure. President Qin. It was almost time to go to work, but Assistant Yang was nowhere to be seen. Go and get Bella. Seeing that it was almost time for the morning meeting, Qin Chu asked the secretary to get Bella. Bella had been Hu Min's assistant for a long time, so she had a lot of experience. Without thinking, Qin Chu took the documents and went into the meeting room with Bella. When the meeting ended at 9:30 a.m., Assistant Yang was still nowhere to be seen. Qin Chu had just asked if Assistant Yang was here when his cell phone rang. Did you oversleep? Seeing that it was Assistant Yang calling, Qin Chu picked up and asked. President Qin, I'm Xiao Yang's wife. Qin Chu was slightly startled, but he did not continue to speak. My husband got into a car accident on his way to work this morning. He's still in the hospital now. Our whole family is grieving and we forgot to call the company. I just remembered. I'm sorry, President Qin. Is it serious? Qin Chu was still worried when he heard about his assistant's accident. I'm not sure yet. We also have to wait for the results of the surgery. However, we might not be able to go back in the short term. Okay, I got it. After hanging up the phone, Qin Chu immediately ordered the company's finance department to send the money to Xiao Yang's family to deal with the emergency. Bella, stay here and take over Yang's position for now. Sure, but President Qin, I still have a lot of work on my hands. What should I do? Leave it to someone else. If we don't have enough people, let the HR department recruit a few more. There had been a lot of things going on recently and Qin Chu was also in a terrible fix. Qin Ning was dating Tang Chuan, but now she had quarreled with her father and refused to return to the company. Sometimes his second uncle was too busy and often gave him the documents from the headquarters to deal with. Bella could easily take over Assistant Yang's job, but ordinary people could not handle Bella's workload. In the end, the HR department decided to hire an excellent assistant for President Qin. This was a very small matter in a large corporation, but when Qin Chu came to work the next day, he was greeted by a girl named Assistant Yang. His mood dropped when he saw the girl who had just taken over Bella's position. "Good morning, President Qin." The girl looked at Qin Chu with a bright smile. "You..." Chapter 2491. How did you? Qin Chu looked at the woman in front of him in shock. "Hello, President Qin. Let me introduce myself. I'm a new employee hired by the HR department to help Sister Bella. My name is Zhang Manlin. You can call me Lin Lin." The girl's every movement and smile were perfect. Qin Chu was surprised to see her, not because of how beautiful or cute she was. It was because she had a face that was 70% similar to Huamin's. Yes, he was right. They were 70% similar. The girl looked young with a ponytail. She looked more like a young Huamin. Fortunately, her voice was different. Otherwise, Qin Chu would have mistaken her for his wife who had come to the company. "Who hired you?" Qin Chu frowned slightly. "Manager Go from the HR department." The girl smiled. Without another word, Qin Chu turned around and walked into his office, leaving the girl standing there awkwardly, not knowing what to do. After Qin Chu returned to his office, he sat down and dialed the intercom. "Tell the person in charge of the HR department to come see me immediately." 5 minutes later, "President Qin, you were looking for me?" The female manager of the HR department knocked on the door carefully. "Did you hire Bella's new assistant?" Qin Chu asked. "Yes." "Where did you hire her?" "A lot of people sent us their resumes and we selected her. This girl has a good education and looks mature." "Do you know that she looks like my wife?" Qin Chu asked coldly. "President Qin, very well, you're fired." "What?" The person in charge of the HR department was dumbfounded. "I said you're fired and so is the woman outside. You're all fired." Although Qin Chu had a bad temper, he rarely fired employees. Now that he fired the person in charge of the HR department, it caused a huge uproar. Some people said that the person in charge of the HR department purposely found a girl who looked like President Qin's wife to win his favor. In the end, he overreached himself. There were also people who said that Mr. Qin didn't want a woman who looked like his wife to appear. In short, he didn't like her. Zhang Manlin was fired on her first day of work. She was really unlucky. She took her things and walked out quietly. Along the way, he heard the people in the company talking about it. However, her expression remained calm, as if this matter had nothing to do with her. Sis. Xixin had just returned from a business trip and didn't know what was going on. As soon as he returned to the company, he saw this familiar figure from afar. Thinking that it was Huamin, she almost rushed over and hugged him. When she got closer, she realized that it was an unfamiliar girl. I'm sorry, I mistook you for someone else." Xixin immediately apologized. "It doesn't matter," the girl replied faintly and continued to walk out. At this time, Qin Chu and Bella also came downstairs and were about to go out. When they came down from the top floor elevator and passed through the lobby, they bumped into each other. The girl suddenly summoned her courage and took the initiative to stop Qin Chu. "Chairman Qin, please wait a moment." Qin Chu stopped in his tracks, but he didn't turn around. "President Qin, I heard that. I look a lot like your wife. So I was fired. Is that so?" Qin Chu turned his head and glanced at her face coldly. "Who told you that you look like my wife?" Chapter 2492. Isn't the entire company talking about it? To be honest, I was quite happy when I was hired by your company. After all, it's a world-renowned company. But now it seems like President Qin is just an emotional man. He didn't even give me a chance and fired me. Not only me, but the person who hired me was implicated as well. If this was in ancient times, it would be the behavior of a tyrant. The girl suddenly changed the topic and became sharp-tongued. She ridiculed Qin Chu in front of all the employees. No one dared to even breathe loudly. Is this little girl crazy? Is she mentally ill? How dare she talk back to President Chin? Some of the employees whispered among themselves. Our company doesn't want employees who talk back to their superiors. Bella couldn't stand it anymore and looked at the girl as she replied. Miss Bella, that's not right. I was fired 10 minutes ago and I'm no longer an employee of your company. So you don't have to worry about anything. I just want to say that young entrepreneurs and listed companies are just SOSO. If you don't want me here, there will be other places for me. Then the girl hugged her personal belongings and turned to leave. Really looks like my sister. Jishin was dumbfounded. I don't think so. Huimin isn't that reckless, Bella calmly analyzed. Surprised, Chin-Chu didn't say anything. He didn't fly into a rage either. He just lowered his head and walked out of the company's headquarters. At Imperial Star after work, Suyu listlessly drove his car, wondering if he should go back to the old mansion for dinner or go back to his private mansion. He was careless and almost ran a red light. Fortunately, he reacted quickly and braked. Then a red figure appeared in front of his car. Can't you see the red light? Seriously. I'm so unlucky today, Zhang Manlin complained. Suyu was quite shocked when he saw the girl's face. Mian. He was pleasantly surprised, thinking that it was Huimin. Just as he was about to call out Mian's name, the girl looked up. After taking a closer look at her face, she realized that she wasn't Huimin, but she really resembled him. Whether it was her back view, figure, appearance, or even hairstyle, she was very similar to Huimin, but she obviously looked younger. The driver behind kept honking, but Suyu had no intention of leaving. You wanted to say something. The young lady lowered her head and looked at her trousers. Don't worry, I'm not injured. I won't cheat you. It's just that my trousers are a little loose. Forget it, I'll fix it myself later. Then he crossed the road and walked away while muttering to himself. Suyu only came back to his senses after she walked past him. Then he felt that this matter was a little strange. He couldn't help but send a WeChat message to Huimin. Are you there? Yes. I just saw a girl who looks very much like you. Maybe she's my twin sister or something. Huimin laughed. I'm not joking, it's true. Where did you see her? Is she pretty? Huimin replied to Suyu while eating an apple. How should I put it? I can't say for sure. She gives off the same vibe as you. I think it's a little strange. Mian, you have to be careful. Okay, don't worry, I'm fine. Huimin nodded. In fact, he didn't really take these words to heart. Just then, Chin-Chu opened the door and walked in looking a little tired. Honey, you're back. Huimin stood up and took the briefcase for him. Daddy, you're in a bad mood. Look at your dark face. Little Bean immediately saw that her daddy's expression wasn't right. Mian, come upstairs with me, I have something to talk to you about. Chin-Chu rarely spoke to Huimin so formally, so as soon as he finished speaking, Huimin realized the seriousness of the matter. Chapter 2493. After the couple went upstairs, the twins began to talk to each other worriedly in the living room. Little Bean, sis, don't you think Daddy and Mommy are acting weird lately? Pudding, even a blind person can see it, okay? Little Bean, why didn't you say so earlier? Pudding, would it have worked? Little Bean, at least we can investigate the cause. Pudding, things between adults are very complicated. It's not something we can get involved in. Besides, Daddy and Mommy aren't ordinary adults. Their combined IQ is enough to crush us. So it's better if we don't get involved in this. Little Bean, but I'm worried that things will go wrong. While Little Bean was talking, she glanced upstairs from time to time looking worried. Pudding, what's wrong? Little Bean, they won't divorce, right? When the time comes, one of us will have to live with Daddy and the other with Mommy. Ooh, I'm so pitiful. I'd rather live with Daddy. Mommy is so fierce. Pudding, you're thinking too far ahead. Besides, you don't have to worry about Daddy and Mommy divorcing. Before Pudding could finish, Little Bean interrupted her. Sis, are you trying to say that Daddy and Mommy love is stronger than gold? Even if the earth were to explode, Daddy and Mommy would never separate, right? Pudding, no, I mean they're not even married. How could they divorce? Little Bean spat out a mouthful of milk onto the sofa. Sis, are you saying that we've always been illegitimate daughters? Little Bean's eyes widened. No, I'm not talking about the law. I'm talking about the wedding. Don't you know that they've never had a wedding? Oh right. I would have forgotten about it if you didn't mention it. So worrying. I hope they'll be fine. Otherwise we won't have a good life. Daddy has a cold face. If he fights with Mommy he'll freeze us to death. Mommy has a bad temper too. If she's unhappy she'll vent her anger on us. The two kids chatted downstairs. Of course, if their daughters could tell what was wrong with them, how could outsiders not? That night Huamin and Qin-Chu chatted for an hour and a half in the study upstairs. No one knew what they talked about, but when Huamin walked out his expression was not very good. The two of them were no longer calling each other husband and wife as intimately as before. Let's go. Mommy will take you to bathe and sleep. Huamin went downstairs and led the twins upstairs. Qin-Chu picked up his coat and walked out. Chu, it's so late. Where are you going? Mama Qin asked. I'm going out to do something. Drive carefully and come back early. All right. After Qin-Chu left, Lady Qin raised her head and looked at her daughter-in-law and granddaughter who had gone upstairs. She then looked at her son who had just come back from work and went out again. He started to feel uneasy. Hubby, do you feel it? Mr. Qin was reading the newspaper with his reading glasses. When he heard Mama Qin's question he looked up at her and asked, What do you feel? Something's wrong with Mian and Chu lately. What's wrong? I'm not sure, but it's definitely different from before. When you have time, ask Chu if he's under a lot of pressure at work or if he's in some kind of trouble. We don't want him and his wife to fight because of work. It's not easy for Mian to give birth to 2 children for our family. I really hope she won't make trouble again. Qin-Chu's mother understood her daughter-in-law's difficulties more and more. In the bathroom upstairs, the twins took off their clothes and got into the bathtub. Mommy, you've been in here for less than 5 minutes and you've spaced out 3 times. What's wrong with you? Chapter 2494. It's nothing. You're lying. Pudding didn't believe her. Okay, you two hurry up and go to bed, Huamin lectured her 2 daughters. Pudding didn't ask too much since her mother wasn't in a good mood. After Huamin bathed the girls she put them to bed. At around 10 o'clock her 2 daughters were asleep. She closed the door and went back to her bedroom. She walked in the dark without turning on the lights. She stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window and looked at the scenery downstairs. It was going to be another sleepless night. The next morning when Huamin drove to Southside Recuperation Center, she saw a few nurses chatting in the lobby. When they saw Huamin they immediately greeted him. Good morning, Vice Director. Good morning. Huamin nodded slightly. Then when she turned her head she heard the nurses say, It's too similar, it's too similar. Huamin wasn't someone who liked to gossip so she didn't ask what was going on. However, when she arrived at the office, Qin-Jia looked at her strangely. Jia, what's wrong? Director, our hospital's finance department hired a new accountant today. Our hospital is so big we hire new people every day. It's not like I'm in charge of this. Huamin smiled. She took off her coat and hung it up carefully. Then he took out the neatly folded white coat from the cupboard and put it on. This series of actions was very skillful. Director, you haven't seen the new girl yet, right? Qin-Jia asked carefully. Yeah, I haven't seen her yet. I just got here. What's wrong? Huamin was confused by Qin-Jia's hesitation. Forget it, I don't know what to say. You'll see her in the morning meeting and then you'll know what's going on. So mysterious. Does she look like Fan Bingbing? Huamin joked. 15 minutes later she saw Zhang Manlin in the conference room for the first time. Huamin himself was deeply shocked. It was as if he was looking into a mirror. No, it was more accurate to say that he was looking at another version of himself. It was a magical feeling. All the colleagues at Southside also exclaimed that they were too similar. Qin-Jia, who had been with Huamin the longest, couldn't help but sigh. How could there be such a similar woman? Hello, Vice Director Hua. I'm Zhang Manlin. Hello, I'm Huamin. Huamin was a calm person. Even in this situation he didn't lose his composure. She suddenly understood why Suyu said that he saw someone who looked like her. Turned out that there really was one. The most miraculous thing was that this girl looked especially innocent because of her young age. She looked more like him when he was young. Huamin suddenly had a very unpleasant feeling in his heart. She wondered how Qin-Chu would react if he saw this woman. Chief, we can start the meeting now, Qin-Jia carefully reminded him. Huamian's expression didn't change as she picked up the documents and began to talk. Half an hour later, Huamin and Qin-Jia walked out of the conference room. Vice Director, do you have a moment? I want to talk to you. The girl named Zhang Manlin jogged over. Sure. Huamin didn't refuse. He also wanted to know what he could talk about with his buddies. To his surprise, the first thing the girl said when he entered the office was, Vice Director, to be honest, I just came to this city and wanted to find a better job. I was selected when I submitted my resume to GK, but when I went to work I was fired for no reason. So, I came to your hospital for an interview. Then I heard that you're President Qin's wife, right? Yes. Huamin nodded without hiding anything. Chapter 2495. It seems like the rumors are true. What rumors? Huamin was curious. Rumor has it that President Qin of GK spoils his wife to the point that he can't tolerate anyone who looks like her. It seems like I wasn't fired for nothing. What about you, Vice Director? Did you also fire me for no reason and convict me just because I look like you? After the girl said this, Huamin suddenly realized that she was a very smart person. Without a doubt, her words put Huamin on a pedestal. If he fired her, it would seem too petty. How could the Vice Director of Southside be so narrow-minded? If he said no, Huamin felt that it was too weird to keep someone who looked so much like him under his nose. After a moment of silence, Huamin nodded. I won't. That's good, then there's no problem. Thank you, Vice Director. But I still want to say that my face was given to me by my parents. I can't do anything about it, but I can say for sure that I'm not related to you by blood. I asked my colleagues about your blood type and it's different from mine. Most importantly, my parents are just ordinary farmers and don't have that many complicated feuds with rich families. So, of course, I won't shamelessly claim kinship with you, Vice Director. You don't have to worry about that. I'm going back to work. Thank you for taking your precious time. Then the girl opened the door and left. Huamin's expression became complicated. This girl's attitude towards her wasn't flattering or rude, but there was a hint of arrogance in her bones. That arrogance was becoming more and more like her when she was younger. In a trance, she had a feeling that she had traveled back in time to 10 years ago. Zhang Manlin was an extremely cheerful person, even a bit of a tomboy. He got along well with everyone. She was the center of attention wherever she went. Although she wasn't stunningly beautiful, she had a strong presence. Therefore, for the first few days, Southside was in an uproar. Even President Wu, who came back from a business trip, came to see this girl in person. The male doctors in the hospital were even more attentive to the young lady because she was single. For a time, everyone in Southside, be it the doctors, nurses, anesthetists, or even patients, had a harmonious relationship with this young lady. At this moment, Huamin's heart began to subtly change. He couldn't describe what he was feeling. He just felt unhappy. He couldn't say he was jealous, but he couldn't say he was happy either. She couldn't say that it didn't matter. She hadn't cultivated to the point where she had no desires. Lunchtime, Southern District cafeteria, wherever Zhang Manlin went to get her food, the place would be filled immediately. Then a group of people would start chatting and laughing. Manlin, are you really not related to our vice director? A young nurse asked. I really don't. My family is from the countryside and my parents are farmers. They've been farming for their entire lives. How could I have a relative as awesome as the vice director? Zhang Manlin smiled. Then you two are too similar. Did you have plastic surgery? Someone joked. Zhang Manlin wasn't angry. She only retorted, I'm not afraid of offending our vice director. If I did plastic surgery, I wouldn't look like her. After all, my face isn't beautiful. If I did plastic surgery, I would look like a baby. Huh. Her words made everyone roar with laughter. Huamian, on the other hand, was sitting in a quiet corner, eating slowly and methodically. The atmosphere around her was a lot colder. These days, Qinjie would go over to take care of Ni Yang's mother at noon, so she basically ate by herself. Can I sit here? A pleasant male voice sounded. Huamin looked up at him. Chapter 2496. Whatever, Huamin replied faintly. Should I call you Dr. Hua or Vice Director Hua? Lu Zhe asked with a smile as he held his plate. Either is fine. Then I'll call you Dr. Hua. Vice Director Hua sounds good, Lu Zhe said half-jokingly. It's okay. I'm not young anymore, Huamin said frankly. Who said so? Dr. Hua is still in his prime. Thank you for your compliment, Dr. Lu, but I'm really not. Did you fix your car? Think so. I don't have time to pick it up. Yeah. I saw you driving a white Porsche this morning. You have a lot of luxury cars in your family. Chin Chu is really rich, Lu Zhe commented objectively. Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't have dated him in high school. I did it so I could marry into a rich family, Huamin said self-deprecatingly. You're not that kind of person, Dr. Lu. Don't act like you know me very well. I hate it when people try to figure me out. Although I haven't been in your class for a long time, you left the deepest impression on me. Really? Thank you. It's just that some people showed up late so they might miss out on a lot of things. Lu Zhe said ambiguously. It's about time. I'm done eating. Dr. Lu, take your time. Huamin stood up with a smile. He put his plate aside and turned to leave. Lu Zhe looked at her back and smiled thoughtfully. She is indeed a difficult woman to deal with. Su Yu hadn't been in a good mood recently, so he didn't take the initiative to pick up the twins. In the end, the twins couldn't help but come to him. President Su, Pudding and Little Bean are here, and knocked on the door and said, Yeah. Su Yu was in the middle of a video conference. When he heard that the twins were here, he immediately said to his colleagues, something came up. Let's call it a day. If you have any questions, just send me an email. That's all. Then Su Yu hung up. When he got up, Pudding and Little Bean walked in. The two ladies were wearing black wide-legged pants, white long sleeves and black vests. They were dressed fashionably. I'll give you full marks for your outfit today. Su Yu's eyes were full of love. Shut up. Why hasn't handsome Su visited us in so long? Little Bean asked. Haven't you been busy recently? It hasn't been that long, right? You felt wronged. It's been 6 days. It's almost a week, okay? Little Bean corrected him. Yes, it's my fault. I was careless. Huh. But didn't I ask your mommy to bring you that robot? This can also be considered as making amends, right? Su Yu laughed. Pudding sat on the sofa and blew bubbles as she said, Now that you mention it, I remember something. Handsome Su, you're so busy. How did you have time to go to Southside to give the things to my mommy? I went to Southside for a checkup. It's on the way. Su Yu made up an excuse. That's not what my mommy said. It doesn't match up, right? Pudding continued to ask. Okay, you two little devils. I'm sorry, I'm guilty. Fine, I'll listen to you. I've already cut off the video conference. Isn't that enough? Su Yu was very patient with the twins, which was rare for him. Handsome Su, other than wanting to see you, we're here today because we need your help. Little Bean climbed onto Su Yu's lap and hugged his neck coquettishly. You two are begging me? I promise it's not something good, right? Su Yu looked at the two little ancestors warily. You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxiao Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.